Hi-ho, everybody, and welcome back to D Plus Us Weekly, the show where we talk about shows exclusive to Disney Plus, episode by episode, week by week, for our enjoyment and yours. I'm one of your hosts, Griffin Tadell, Griffy D-Pad, and with me, as always, is the wonderful, the amazing, the marvelous Mr. Miss George. How are you doing tonight?
What a skull-crushing finale this was.
Quite literally. It
We'll
was
get there.
one hell of a finale, and I'm so happy that we get to sit here and talk about it tonight. Of course, folks, we're talking about Daredevil Born Again. Episode 9, Season 1 finale. A full spoiler discussion for this one, folks. So if you haven't seen the episode, or any of Daredevil for that matter, go watch it and then come right on back for this. Before we jump into the spoilers, of course, a rigmarole for you. Hey, thank you for listening. This is the finale of Daredevil, so there will be no Daredevil episode next week. There will, however, hopefully, depending on when we have time to record / watch it, you finally figured it out.
I figured it out today. I'm really happy.
You finally figured it out.
Not really. It still hurts my hands. It makes no sense. This is way easier.
Audio listeners, go to the podcast. Go to the video feed.
You don't have to. Don't do it.
But yeah, since there's no Daredevil next week, we will be talking about Andor Season 2 next.
Episodes 1, 2, and 3.
So, yeah. Not sure.
That's not coming out on Wednesday.
No way.
This took 2 days to get to, and that's just because life.
Probably the weekend at best.
We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get that when it's there, and you'll be happy about it. And we'll talk about other things probably too, because we have like 4-ish episodes that we want to record like now. So we got to figure out the ordering of those and just get them in the tank. Mm-hmm. You got your Moana 2. You got your Mufasa. And then you've got, I think my pick was Jojo Rabbit. Yours
Jojo Rabbit we'll talk about. We also talk. There's a bunch of ones we talked about.
We talked about Idiocracy. We talked about Office Space. Neither of those feels very nice to talk about right now.
They're also
given the current state of things.
There are also a handful of Parks episodes that we should record sooner rather than later.
Oh yeah, R.I.P. Muppet Vision 3D.
Beside the point, we're not here to talk about that today. We're here to talk about Episode 9, Straight to Hell.
That's where we ended up.
Damn. What a finale. Mitch, did they land the plane?
I mean, this is a tale of two showrunners. Like, this is a tale of two stories. Right? There are very clear lines that were crossed from one narrative through line into another. I think the premiere, these last two episodes, and the bank episode specifically, felt like such a deviation from the tone and the vibe of the show. But this is where they're going forward. Like, this is what they're following through with. Because there was a bit of odd storytelling of just like, oh my God, Fisk has been, racking, like he's been back and forth, and like he's been struggling with who he is and balancing who he is as Kingpin and who he is as Mayor Fisk. And in this episode, just like, nah, fuck it, I'm a crime lord again, I'm gonna smash some skulls. Like, it was kind of jarring, but this is the show that I wanted throughout, so I can kind of forgive that.
Yeah, that's where I fall on it too, where it's like this last couple episodes and the premiere have a very different tone than the rest of the show, and you can tell, like you said, you can see the reshoots, you can see where they readjusted the show.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like where they said, okay, 2 seasons, okay, we'll do this. And I think it's
there was actually there was actually an interview with Brad Winterbaum, I think this week or last week, where he said, season 2 we're doing now, it's gonna be great, and then we're ready to record, or we're ready to go with season 3 through season infinity. So even though this is originally planned as a 2-season arc, I don't see this being the end of Daredevil's story or the end of this show, which I think is really I'm really hopeful about that going forward.
Yeah, it's something I've talked about, I think, and especially in relation to a show like Ted Lasso that's coming back right now for season 5, where seasons 1 through 3 of that show, 1 through 3, season 4 is coming back. 1 through 3 tells a story, that story ends. Season 4 is starting a new story, but it's still the same show. It can be a completely separate arc. We've seen that in so many shows outside of the U.S. or in animation, that somehow that doesn't always click for people in the U.S. And I do not understand why. Like,
Well, I think
Arcs
what was fun.
exist.
Well, it's funny too because like I sent you an article the other day confirming that season 2 was coming in March of 2026,
Get hyped.
and that's a surprise to the world. Where like this is very much a traditional television show. It is being shot like a traditional television show, and traditional television shows come back every year.
But also,
We're used to this
frankly,
2-3 year cycle from things like Mando or Andor or
even
all
outside
of
of
these
Disney,
large big
nothing
budget
is shot
things.
like a nothing really anymore is shot like a normal show, with like a
No,
couple exceptions.
everything's shot for streaming.
The only exception I can think of is Abbott Elementary.
Well, there are traditional serial programs like Abbott. Looking.
But
I
I'm
mean, I'm
talking
just
of like
thinking of
actually hitting that yearly season cadence that shows used to hit.
What We Do in the Shadows. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. A lot of those like sitcom, like the made to order shows for network television. Yes, but what we've seen this shift in folks' consumption of media is a shift from traditional broadcast to streaming. You get a lot of folks that are binging The Office or binging Abbott or whatever it might be, but the shows that are being made original are being made for that binging audience. They're not being made for the traditional weekly tune in and find out audience, right? Although a lot of those shows have shifted to a weekly model, but they're still making product to the scale that you expect from a streaming production, and that takes time.
Fair. Yeah, I'm
But this did
interested
not.
to see how that affects the show going forward. But bringing it back and talking about this week's episode and kind of just the season as a whole, yeah, you can very much tell there is a specific direction they're going with this show, and I think this episode does such a good job of forcing us into that direction in a way that narratively makes sense.
What I really loved here too, full spoilers at this point, like there are two moments I think that really this being called Daredevil Born Again, I'm like they're not doing the Born Again storyline because they've already done that in the Netflix show. But there are two moments here, and it's Karen's return and when we blow up the brownstone, where I'm like, that is drawn shot for shot from a panel of the Born Again comic, and I'm just like, yes, do this. This is a nice interpretation of what the source material was, as opposed to Secret Invasion.
Oh yeah.
Remember that happened. And we talked
I
about it
don't.
a lot.
I don't like talking about it. I pretend it doesn't exist. Um, I'm gonna delete the episodes from the internet in my
You can try, but it's on the
rage.
internet, so it's not.
Um, oh, no one cares about us that much to archive our shit.
That's true.
Yeah, this episode I think was chilling in so many fantastic ways. Everything Fisk is doing, like there's the moment he talks to what's her name, his communications person, Sheila,
Yeah.
where he's like, keep everyone who's loyal, get rid of everybody else.
Well, there was another one too. I'm
Or
gonna see if I can scrub through the episode and find it, but it's something to the to the tone of like no body cams, no
yeah, no
accountability,
body cams, no
no
accountability, no
punishment,
punishment.
or something to that extent. And I'm just like, oh, so they wrote this 18 months to 2 years ago, but they knew exactly what we were
Or
going to be
it's
getting into in 2025.
yeah, there's a great moment with the police chief where it's like you're allowing this horrible shit. He's like, no, I'm encouraging it.
Yeah, like whoa, that was ripped straight from the headlines today.
But even
And
on a
granted,
smaller
that might have been
sense,
something that was reshot and written knowing the political climate that we were going or we were heading towards, but even still, goddamn.
with that though, with our conversations we've had with a lot of this, I can't speak today. This
You're good.
at this show, Daniel Blake again, his scene with the committee, where he's
Oh
just
boy.
like, lays it all out and threatens the fuck out of them in such a perfectly Fisk manner. So good, so amazingly horrible, right? Like, and then the one that really got me was the Punisher, right? Having Frank come back into this, and like all of Frank's scenes are fantastic. I love that he yells at Matt of, yeah, he can't make a cup of coffee.
Like I was honestly shocked just with the tone they'd set in the rest of the season that this episode was as bloody as it was.
Oh yeah,
Like the first shot of Frank is he blows a dude's head off like blows a hole through a dude's head through a door. Like that, my jaw dropped. And then obviously, I alluded to it earlier, the scene with Fisk and Gallo, where I expected them to cut away, a la John Walker, U.S. agent in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Nah, we straight up see a dude's like they cut away from Pedro Pascal getting his head crushed in Game of Thrones, and they didn't cut away from this. Like that was HBO. This is Disney.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Like
Disney Griffin. It's
every
Disney.
other episode has those cutaways, right? This one doesn't, and I
Nah.
think it does such a good job of escalating the situation that they're in.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it
I
really
totally
makes
agree
it
with you
clear
there.
of we are going into the Devil's Reign, right? Like Devil's Reign is a interesting comic line. Goods and bads.
But again, they're probably not going to interpret it one to one. Like this was called Born Again, and they didn't do the Born Again story. They'll probably pull elements of Devil's Reign, but they will tell the story that they want to tell, right?
The reason why I love it, and I hope we get to see a level of this, I do not think we will, is the heroes of New York City fighting Fisk, who has outlawed them, and taking over and fighting both on the street, but then also through the legal system, and that is how Luke Cage becomes the mayor of New York City. Like, I hope we get something along those lines.
There's that moment at the end where Matt's like, "We need an army." I'm like, "Oh God, we're gonna see it." And then they cut to the bar. I'm like, "Oh God, they're all gonna be here." And it was like a couple of cops and Josie, and I'm like, "Oh man, like that." Even if that isn't where they're going with this, like, which I'm totally with you. I do think this is the avenue to reintroduce the Defenders, or at least elements of it, to bring in folks like Echo, to bring in folks like who else is operating in New, or maybe calls in a favor, She-Hulk, right? That kind of idea. Because I don't think we'll see Danny Rand, but I do expect that we're going to see Colleen, we're going to see Misty, we're going to see Luke, we're going to see Jessica Jones in season 2.
Yeah,
and I think this like the way he's like, "Oh, we're gonna have an army," and then it's like all these regular folks. It's like that is New York. But also by the end of that second season, he's gonna have help. Like he has to have help.
Yeah, like there's some characters I'd love to be there, right? Like I know the talking point that we've seen on the internet, right? Like everyone wishes Spidey was there, and he won't be. He will not be. Like there's just no way in which that happens.
But could they allude to him being there?
I don't think they even can do that because they don't have any of those rights.
No, but didn't they mention at some point in the show like the crawling on walls or something to that extent?
Yeah, spider costume.
Yeah. So like even if it is just the Fisk guys on the radio, like, "Oh my God, he's here," and then you just hear.
See, even then, I don't think they'll do that. I think it's an all or nothing with Spidey. And then there's other characters that I would love to see. Like I would love to see Moon Knight show up because Moon Knight is supposed to be in New York. But we're never gonna see that. Like I have all of these characters I would love to see there, and I gotta.
Wasn't he in London? I thought he was in London.
He is in London, but Moon Knight, at least comic wise, is in New York.
Yeah.
And I
do think it's reasonable to. Yeah, I do think it's reasonable if they're going to set up the Luke Cage's mayor line or Fisk running for president. One of those. Could you imagine if they do the Fisk runs for president after Harrison Ford's Thunderbolt Ross?
I don't think they're going to go that far. Fisk has never been president, right?
No, but he's run for president, hasn't he?
I think you're mixing him up with Norman Osborn.
I'm just going based on Wikipedia here, but that doesn't matter either way. Like there's a lot of room for them to play here, even with just the folks they've already set up in New York. I mean, stone's throw away across the bridge, Miss Marvel, right? Like there are other ways. Like
bring Hawkeye back.
Swordmaster gets in trouble. Who's going to show up to help? Maybe his, stepdaughter.
Who is alluded to a lot in some of these Wilson Fisk scenes.
Well, that's exactly it, right? Like, there's that connection between Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, Echo with Kingpin. Like, there's reason to pull in folks we've seen in the MCU and folks we've seen on Netflix. And I'm really excited to see where they go.
Yeah, it's such an interesting point to, like, where we're going to be. And I love the way that this ends. Even if it's, like,
Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts are in New York right now, too. They have friggin' Stark Tower.
Yeah, but that's weird, and we know it.
Yeah, but Yelena's there. That's not as weird.
Let's not speculate on that one until we've actually seen it.
Just drop Red Guardian into Hell's Kitchen. It'll be great.
Yeah, that'll go perfectly. No notes. Um,
Drop him into anything. It'd be great. What are you talking about?
Bringing it back a second, I mentioned Punisher, but there was a scene I want to talk about, which is we finally got what I wanted, and then absolutely not what I wanted, which was Punisher just slaughtering corrupt cops.
Yeah.
It was so good. It was so good, and then they capture him, and it gets even
But
fucking better.
that post-credit scene.
Oh, so good. But like that moment of him sitting in the chair, right, and like all of the cops there with their version of the skull on there,
Yeah.
and like Frank being like, "Now you fuckers don't get it. None of you understand this. You're all idiots. I'm going
He
to kill
doesn't
all of you."
want to be this. This isn't a choice for him, right? It's a means to an end. And it makes me want to go back and rewatch the Punisher show on Netflix just because John Bernthal is so good in that.
Look,
But
it speaks
something
so
else.
well to the most one of like the more frustrating things to me as someone who lives in the U.S. and is a comic nerd, where it's like there is this co-opting by cops of the Punisher logo, and
Yeah.
they just
It's not. That's not
don't get
It's
it.
not a. It's not a U.S. thing. That I see that shit here all the time.
Fair enough. I saw like 3 of them on my way home today, because so I just
Okay,
assumed.
maybe it's worse in Florida.
Yeah, it's such a frustrating. Like I know it's another thing of like you just don't understand this character, but genuinely, it is. It's just baffling to me, like how we can misread a character so much to make him a
Yeah, I
symbol
mean,
of what he's actively against.
yeah. I think what's also interesting here is we get a little bit more of a deep dive into Vanessa's corruption of Poindexter or co-option, cooperation. I don't know what you want to call it.
Co-opting.
Her extraditing him from prison, like it. It almost makes you sympathize, and I know season 2 is going to get to the fact that like he's just a terrible person, which is fine. But it I'm glad they took time to dive into that because otherwise it's just oh, Bullseye's a means to an end, right? But there's actual story there in terms of the way that he was being sedated, the way that she got him out, not giving him much time. Like it had to be done in days, quote unquote, to stop Foggy from revealing what's up with Red Hook. And going back and watching episode 1, whether it's Daredevil's that good or Bullseye was still feeling the effects of the drugs, like he's not on his A game, right? Like there's stumbling, he misses shots, Bullseye doesn't miss. So like there's layers of this that they've built in through this season that I thought was really, really well executed. And then the other main thing that I wanted to touch on is just Matt and Karen. Like, thank God they brought Karen back.
Right. Yeah, that was my one of my big notes, honestly, from this season, and it's one that we had a lot going into it, right? Where it's hard to imagine a show without Karen and Foggy, and even though Foggy is not in any of this, that's the first episode because he's dead. You
Is
still
he?
feel him in. As far as we know,
He's dead.
Foggy is dead. You still feel him in every episode, right? Karen,
Avocados at law, baby.
God, that moment made me so happy. Um, I love when I can just text you out of the blue, just something super dumb like that, and you know exactly what I'm referring to. But bringing Karen back is absolutely the right play here. Karen is so much the heart of the show, but even more than that is the one that pulls Matt back from going full dark.
Not even
So
just Matt. Like she's the one that pulls Frank into this too, right? And they have their connection from both the time in the Daredevil show as well as her time on the Punisher show. Like there's that established connection there as well, and that gave us a reason for them to be pulled back in. Of just like, oh yeah, Fisk is going insane, so I'm gonna hop on the next flight and make sure Frank's there to watch your back. Like that was a very simple way to be like, all right, yeah, we're doing comic book shit and it's gonna be dope.
yeah,
But also
it's
that first scene, the hospital, and he says Karen instead of Heather. Oh, that relationship's so.
did the betrayal of Heather, right? Like
Oh man.
from her standpoint of her understanding of everything in this situation, makes complete sense, right?
Oh
But
yeah, she's
God, it
totally
hurts.
justified in her actions.
Yeah, like boyfriend calls out the name of
Dick.
it of someone you know he used to date.
Yeah.
You are going to work for the mayor who is applauding you and helped save your life, and you are equating that to him. Plus, he was your client. Like, that might be a little weird. There's definitely some laws that breaks, but when does the show care about that?
It's a TV show.
Like, absolutely justified from her standpoint. From the audience standpoint, the absolute betrayal of this woman, I will never forgive her. Like, God, her shaking hands with Fist at the end. Again, when I mentioned like these chilling moments, or like the Vanessa and Wilson clinking their glasses in the Red Hook district. Like, so good, so great, such perfect imagery. Um, like we mentioned
It did.
already.
I mean, before we get off of that, it did feel like getting to the reveal of Red Hook being this, like basically just unenforceable land, like that you
Yeah,
could
it's a
just
free port.
commit. Yeah, like it did feel like that was rushed a bit, and it was like, oh, okay, it's a free port, so that's why everything's gone to shit. And it's just like, well, there could have been elements of this that you talked about or alluded to earlier in the show, and it wasn't just, well, Foggy was onto something and he figured it out, and then
So
he
they
got
have
killed
been.
for it,
Well, the
and
foggy part they didn't, but they have been alluding
yeah,
to like Freeport being important to the Fisks the entire show.
well, Red Hook, yeah,
Or Red Hook, yeah.
yeah,
Um, and like we did not know why this location. Just assumed it was just some shady shit's happening there. But for it to be this reveal of no, it is
it is
lawless
literally uncharted
island.
territory.
Like
Yeah,
that is such a great way to pull it, and I'm so interested by that decision. It's such a fun addition into all of this. I really have enjoyed this season of television, and I am so excited for season 2. I'm so happy we're getting it so quickly as well, like you
yeah. I'm
mentioned.
also very curious how quickly they start shooting the Punisher special, because presumably, if you're shooting that as a smaller project, as a one-off, is there a chance? And this is going to be. I'm reaching now. Like this season two is coming March. Is there a chance that the Punisher special is our Christmas? Here's your Christmas gift this year from Marvel.
Maybe.
Because if Frank's in season two, the special either takes place between the seasons and it's him escaping, which is what I expect it to be, given the way that this season ended, or it's he's in season two and the special comes later and explains how he got out. Or they do an episode of how he got out and then the special is something entirely unrelated. And I would be fine with either of those approaches. I just want more of these characters sooner. So if I can get that Frank special in the fall, winter, I would be very, very happy with Marvel.
So,
But it really just comes down to scheduling and the writing and getting it to the point that they want it at.
so there was a Hollywood Reporter article that came out today. Today, recently, doing math a while ago. It doesn't matter.
Recently works.
Recently, um, and it's been basically the producer and showrunner of these, same showrunner between the Punisher special and Daredevil Born Again. Um, he has alluded, not confirmed, but alluded to the Punisher special is going to come out at around the same time as season 2.
Okay.
So
It really just comes down to the story they're telling. If it's an interstitial, I really hope that I would rather they push season two out and release the Punisher special first, if that's the story that they're telling.
mhm.
Like release them chronologically,
Well, what I
because
would
the problem
imagine
you
they would
have
do is be like, no, they're going to put it out like a week or two before the season starts to
that
build
could
the
work
hype.
too. I
But
just don't
also,
want it to be a black. I don't want a Black Widow situation where we already know Frank gets out, so then you have the show or the special come out, and it's
oh,
like,
I don't think
oh,
they're going
okay.
to do that. I don't. I think this is different. I think this is because
I
they're being
hope.
shot at the same time, because it is a short. Like I feel like this, they've got that. They've got this. Black Widow is a weird situation when it comes to
Thanks,
all of this
COVID.
of COVID, yes, but also a long overdue movie that needed to be made.
Yeah.
Um,
Can I break some news to you here live on this recording?
yeah,
Because this dropped 10 minutes ago. According to Culture Crave, Ryan Gosling is confirmed as the lead in Sean Levi's Star Wars film. Starts shooting this fall as a standalone film that's set 5 to 6 years after Episode 9.
oh, interesting.
How do we feel about that?
The Goths. I think the dude can fucking act.
Well, that's it. You
Like,
give me Blade Runner 2048 in Star Wars, and I'm happy. Like,
did
you don't have to do much. Like,
Did you give me Fall Guy in Star Wars, and I'm happy.
yeah,
Like that dude has not. That dude does not have a bad role.
Sean Levy, Levi,
I mean, I was
Levy.
talking about Ryan Gosling.
Well, no,
But
like Sean Levy knows how to make a movie too. Like
oh yeah,
between Free Guy, what he did with Deadpool and Wolverine, like give the dude a license and he can run with it.
yeah, I'm trying to think if he's done some sci-fi before. Also, I just want to quickly shout out Real Steel because I have to bring it up because I freaking love.
Wait,
that
was
movie.
he Real Steel? That
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's how he met Hugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I will just find any excuse I can to bring that movie up because I love that movie.
It's a great friggin' movie.
I still get emotional with like the shadow boxing scene at the end. So good. Yeah, I love it. I'm here for it.
I miss when we get original movies like that. Honestly, like there was something out a few days ago, and of course we're just going to go on a tangent. And this isn't going to have anything to do with Daredevil.
25
An
minutes
article out a
podcast,
few days
who
ago
cares?
about the continued decline of original films in box office because we saw the release of Drop this past week, and there were a couple others this
I
year.
did get to go see that movie. It's actually not bad.
Carmen really wants to see it. I do hope we can get out to see it, or at least see it when it comes to streaming. And the other one was the 20th Century Films or the 20th Century Studios one that just came out with Rami Malek.
Oh, The Amateur. Yeah, The Amateur.
Yeah, that's the one.
Also
So like
pretty
it
good.
didn't do very well either. I mean, granted, the box office this year isn't doing well at all. You look at something like Snow White, and it has all of its own problems that we will unpack at a later date.
But you also look at something
With
like Minecraft, right? Like
which blew
the IP,
blew the theaters up.
IP does well.
Exactly, chicken jockey, right?
Mm-hmm. Fucking kids.
Which I don't understand that reference because I'm not a Minecraft kid.
It's literally just a zombie.
Minecraft came out when I was 18, Griffin.
See, I hear that and
I'm
I'm like,
old.
that just sounds like more time for Minecraft.
Not when you're starting college.
Look, but I started college with Breath of the Wild. I played a lot of that game. I'll tell you what.
I ended college with Breath of the Wild. I got Breath of the Wild the same year that I bought.
That's not that big of a jump.
Breath of the Wild came out the same year that I bought my first condo, or my first property, because we only had the one condo. But still,
Yeah.
I'm old.
Yes, you are. Anyways, folks.
My back hurts.
Daredevil Born Again. Fantastic show. One we've loved all the way through.
2 thumbs up from this guy.
Yeah, very curious to see how this goes forward. But guess what, folks? Matt is here to stay in the MCU, and fuck yeah for that. Obviously, we'll be talking
Fuck
about
yeah.
season 2 next year, when that comes out.
I wish it was goddamn next week. Why are you teasing me like this, Griffin?
I don't know. I'm pretty excited for Andor next week, man.
I mean, I am too, dude. Oh my god. And that's one of the ones that like Carmen didn't watch this with me, and that's fine. But like, there are shows that we'll watch together. So like, we haven't watched The Last of Us yet because we've both been really tired this week. And Andor is not one of those shows that she'll watch with me. So when that drops, I'm just like, oh, give me back a popcorn. Let me sit back, and I'll fall asleep 20 minutes into the episode because I'm an old man now and I fall asleep at 9:30.
I'm gonna go get some
I'm
popcorn.
tired.
I have to go grocery shopping anyway, so that is so happening. Anyways, folks, we will be back to talk about more shows soon. Keep an eye out for that. We will see y'all then. But until then, be good to each other and have a magical day.
Fucking Excelsior.